Hello guys, welcome back to the part 5 of this Design With Me series. In this part, we're going to be talking about placing curbs on the slope. To begin, you have to isolate the road plane and export it to a CAD format. That's a GWG AutoCAD format. After exporting it, you can export it using these following steps, similar steps. After exporting it, make sure open the AutoCAD to make sure it's what you want. And then come back, open massing and site, in place mass, and then load in that CAD plane into it. After loading it into the in place mass, adjust the height. Most times it will go below the normal level. Adjust the height by taking note of what the level on which your topo is. Adjust the height so that you can see it properly. And then create form from it. After creating form, you'll notice that it's now like a solid altogether. So this gives us a basis for where we can place the curbs on this particular angle, on this particular slope plane. Next thing you want to do is go to roof and then do a window selection of you can go to a floor plan or a plan view. Do a window selection of everything on it and then create roof material. So take note of whatever material you're using. In this case, my sloped glazing is still on, so it's going to create, using that mass as a basis, or as the base, it's going to create that material. You're going to apply it along that particular plane. So you can adjust it a little bit so that you can see it from this from your 3D, so that it comes up a bit. So I'm just adjusting the offset level. We are going to change the material of this because this particular glazing is kind of transparent, so it's a little bit difficult not to really see. So I'm changing the material, and then if you're using the roof gutter, you won't be able to select all edges of the newly created plane. You notice only some at a particular angle will be selected, and that's the only place you'll be able to place the roof gutter on. So in order for you to change this, you need to make use of a roof fascia instead, and then apply the profile of a new curb or a curb on that particular profile or fascia. So to create that, go to architecture, roof, and then roof fascia, and then select a new profile or load one in if you don't have one already loaded. And once it's loaded, go to edit type, scroll down until you can see it, and then select it. You can also adjust the offset a little bit so that it looks good. Delete any other gutters you might have, and then just begin placing along the edges. So at this point, because you're making use of a roof fascia, it will easily allow you to select the profile or the edges. So after creating the KERBS, you can change the material so it has a concrete look instead of maybe green or whatever color you have. And then you can also hide the road plane, the extra layer that was created, to place these edges or to place this at the edges, and then just leave the initial road plane. Creating perimeter fence along the slope is quite easy. There are situations where you might have custom fences that you could easily load in and work with. However, in this situation, I'm just going to work with a normal wall fence and place it accordingly, and then just step it over. So there is nothing really difficult to this apart from basic adjustments and looking at it and looking back and adjusting, checking and adjusting, just like that. So a hint for going about this is that instead of having the wall extend all the way on maybe a side of the fence, you can slice it or cut it in between, and then it will be easier for you to adjust, as you go. Given that they're going to be at different heights. When creating fences, most times fences do have a coping at the top of them, and an easier way to go about this is by creating a wall sweep. And when you create the wall sweep, you need to load in a profile that is a wall sweep profile that would you can actually apply on that wall, and then it will just replace whatever profile was there initially at the top. So in order for you to do this, you would have to go to the particular wall or the custom wall which you're using for your fence, and then you need to load in. You'll notice that the wall sweep button or the sweep reveal, all those buttons won't be highlighted. And what you need to do is change the view to a section. And when you change the view to a section, those buttons will now be enabled. Then you click on the sweep, and then you load in the profile at a particular distance. So the distance is where it's going to be along the wall. And once you've loaded it, you take your time to make sure it's in the right place, and then you change the profile. Once you change the profile, it's going to appear, or it's going to load and replace what was initially there. You can customize that profile if it's not long enough. so that it suits what you're planning or what you're trying to make up. So now you see it's loaded, and all I'll need to do for other ones is just to change the wall type and then adjust it until it's at the height I placed in that in the properties. Whenever you place the same kind of wall at the same height, it's going to have the same sweep profile. So you can just customize one wall and give it that profile as a wall sweep. And once you place it, or once you create or apply the same property to a different wall, it will just replicate it just like you've seen in the other instances. So like in this case is now, at a particular height, and the reference is from the lowest part of the wall. So once this particular, I think this is a 2.4. So once this particular wall exceeds 2.4 height, the wall sweep would just remain at that height. So I have to adjust it down, and basically that's how I'm going about this. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to have a railing across this extent. Next part is having the railings or putting the railings across all of this, which is quite simple. You could just use the same rail button and then adjust the height and place them along the same perimeter as you adjust the height. That's all. There's nothing too complicated about it. This is just to extend the road so that there is some kind of continuity. Taking note of the spot elevations so that I can adjust the topo to cover up that point. Adjust the height. for one of these panels, I would like to convert it to a door, and all I need to do is use the cutting grid, slice it or pick a point, and then change the panel to a glass door panel. Alright, that will be all for now. See you in the next lesson.